Good morning, my dear students. Let us discuss about corporate legal framework. Contents of corporate legal framework is introduction to the corporate legal framework and sources of Indian law, Indian Contract Act 1872, and the classification of contracts, essential of a valid contract. We want to know one thing before going to the subject of corporate legal framework is our subject is having another three different names. Corporate legal framework is having three different names. Those are business law, mercantile law and commercial law. Our corporate legal framework is having another three different names. Those are business law, commercial law and mercantile law. And coming to the introduction of corporate legal framework, business comprises all profit-seeking activities and enterprises that provide goods and service necessary to an economic system. Here, every business comprises all profit-seeking activities and enterprises that provide goods and services necessary to an economic system. And here law refers to the principles and regulations established by a government applicable to people and enforced by judicial decision. Law refers to the principles and regulations established by a government applicable to people. Here law refers to the principles and regulations established by a government and applicable to the people and enforced by judicial decision. And law is a system of rules and regulations that are created and enforced through social or governmental institutions to regulate behavior. Here law is a system of rules and regulations that are created and enforced through social or governmental institutions to regulate behavior. Coming to the business law is that portion of the legal system which guarantees an orderly conduct of business affairs and settlement of legitimate disputes in a just manner. Here business law is one of the part of legal system of corporate legal framework and which guarantees an orderly conduct of business affairs. It orderly conduct of business affairs and the settlement of legitimate disputes. It also settlement of legitimate disputes in a just manner, and it establishes a set of rules and prescribes conduct to order to avoid misunderstandings and injury in our business relationships. Sources of Indian law. Here we are having the different sources: principal source, secondary source, English law and mercantile law. Coming to the principal source is having the customer law, judicial decision, statutes and personal law. Coming to the secondary source, justice, equity, good conscience. And coming to the English law, common law, law merchant, equity, statute law. Coming to the mercantile law, law merchant, statute law, common law and equity. Coming to Indian Contract Act 1872. Here Indian contract is framed in 1872. The law relating to the contract is contained in Indian Contract Act 1872. Here Indian Contract Act is framed in the year of 1872. The act deals with general principles of law of contract, section 1 to 75. Here the act deals with general principles of law of contract, section 1 to 75, and some special contracts only containing section 124 to 238. The Indian Contract Act is connecting principles of law of contract at the section 1 to 75, and some special contracts are having the sections 124 to 238. And there are first 6 chapters of act dealing with different stages in the formation of contract. Is essential elements is its performance or breach and the remedies for the breach of the contract. Here there are 6 chapters of Act deal with different stages in the formation of contract, its essential elements, its performance or breach, and the remedies for breach of contract. And the remaining chapters are deal with some of the special contracts. Coming to the nature of law of contract, the law of contract differs from other branches of law in an important respect. It does not lay down a number of rights and duties which law will enforce. It consists rather of a number of limiting principles subject to which the parties may create rights and duties for themselves which the law will uphold. Here, law of contract different from other branches of law in an important respect. It does not lay down a number of rights and duties which the law will enforce. It consists of rather of a number of limiting principles which is subject related and which the parties may create rights and duties for them which the law will uphold. And coming to the parties to a contract in sense make the law for themselves so long as they do not infringe some legal prohibition. Here the parties to a contract in sense make the law for themselves so long as they do not infringe some legal prohibitions. They can make what rules they like in respect of subject matter of their agreement, and the law will get effect to their decisions. A contract is an agreement made between two or more parties which the law will enforce. Section 2H defines a contract as an agreement enforceable at law is a contract. Here enforceable means supported. A contract is an agreement made between two or more parties which the law will enforce. Section 2H says that a contract as an agreement enforceable at law is a contract. Classification of contracts. Here contracts are classified into 3 different categories: validity contracts, formation contracts, and performance contracts. Again, validity contracts are valid contracts, void contract, voidable contract, void agreement. Coming to the formation contracts, expressed contract, implied contract, quasi contract. And coming to the performance contract, executed contract, executory contract. And again executory contract is divided into unilateral contract or bilateral contract. Classification on basis of validity. A contract is based on an agreement. An agreement becomes a contract if all essential elements are satisfied. A contract is based on an agreement. An agreement becomes a contract if all essential elements are satisfied. In such case, it becomes a valid contract. If one or more elements are not present, the contract is voidable or void or illegal or unenforceable. Here there is a agreement between party A and party B. When the law is supported to the agreement, here the agreement is converted into contract. Here there is agreement between party A and party B. There is a law support to that agreement, means then that agreement will convert into contract. If there is no law support to that agreement, the agreement will remains as a agreement only, that does not convert into the contract. So all contracts are agreements, but all agreements are not contracts. Here all contracts are agreemented, but all agreements are not a contract. Coming to the voidable contract. A contract is voidable when the consent of parties to the contract is not free. A contract is voidable when the consent of parties to the contract is not free. When a contract is not satisfying all conditions, that is called voidable contract. Example, voidable contract is defined as the agreement that is enforceable by law at option of one or more of the parties. There are two and not at the option of others. And when the consent of parties not free, it is obtained by coercion, undue influence, fraud or misrepresentation, the contract is voidable at the option of the parties whose consent is so obtained. Here there is a contract between two parties. Here, for example, L agrees to sell car to M. Here, L agrees to sell a car to M for 5,000 rupees only. His consent is obtained by use of the force. His consent is obtained by use of force. By use of force. The contract is voidable because, which means that if L chooses, he may stand by the contract or avoid the contract. Here L agrees to sell a car to the M, but in the force of M. Here L is influenced by the M because of M is influencing the L. So it is not a valid contract. It becomes a voidable contract. And coming to the next contract, void contract, a contract which is entered into may be valid initially, it may be subsequently become void. Here there is a contract, it is a valid contract initially. Here party A is accepting, party B is accepting, and all legal rights are applicable to that agreements, and that agreement is becoming a contract also. But there is a small technique. A contract which entered into a may be valid initially, it may be subsequently become void. Subsequently become void. Maybe occurrence of some event. Maybe occurrence of some event. A contract which was valid initially but has become void due to occurrence of event is called void contract. Here there is a contract between A and B. A is accepted, B is also accepted, there is no any forces or illegal actions, and this agreement is satisfied by Indian law also. This agreement is converted into the contract, but according to some event, this valid contract is changed into a void contract. Example, a contract to import goods from another country to our country. It is a valid contract, but if a war breaks out between the two countries, the contract become a void contract. Here one person belongs to India, one person belongs to the Pakistan. Party A belongs to India, party B belongs to the Pakistan, and party A from India and party B from Pakistan, they done an agreement importing of goods, and up to there the Pakistan and India is having good relationship. When the contract is happen, there will be some war is declared. So here law is applicable to the party A, and party B also law applicable, and that agreement also enforceable by law, and it is converted into contract. Due to the war between Pakistan and India, this contract is converted into void contract. Unenforceable contracts. An unenforceable contract is one which cannot be enforced in the court of law due to some technical defect, such as stamping, registration has not been done where it is necessary. Such contracts may be executed or carried out by the concerned parties. Here there is a contract, but it is unenforceable contract. Why? Because the stamping duty and registration of that particular contract is not done according to rules and regulations, and it will become executed or carried out by concerned parties. But in case of breach, and the aggrieved or affected party cannot approach the court of law for remedy. In addition to the above, there are two more categories called the void agreements and illegal agreements. Coming to the void agreement, an agreement that is not enforceable by law. Here enforceable by means supported by law. A void agreement is there, it is not enforceable by a law, is a void agreement. An agreement that is not enforceable by the law is a void agreement. Such agreements do not create any legal rights and are able to from the beginning. Example, an agreement with a minor is a void agreement. An agreement with a minor person is a void agreement. Coming to the illegal agreement. An illegal agreement is one which goes against some rule of basic public policy or which is a criminal or immoral activity in the nature. An illegal agreement is one which goes against some rule of basic policy or which is criminal or immoral in the nature of activity. An illegal agreement is not only void between immediate parties but has further effect on the collateral transactions, but also there will be a further effect on collateral transaction also. Example, A rents to B's house. A rents B's house to store some smuggled goods. B is aware of A's purpose. The agreement between A and B is a collateral to agreement of buying smuggled goods. However, this agreement is also illegal since the main agreement is illegal. Classification on basis of formation. Express contracts. If the terms of contracts are expressly agreed upon at the time of the formation of contracts, that contract is said to be an express contract. Express contract means if the term of the contract are expressly agreed upon at the time of formation of the contract, the contract is said to be an express contract. Okay, I am accepting for your contract. It is called express contract. Implied contract means an implied contract is one which is implied from the behavior of the parties and not by the words or spoken or written. Here implied contract means an implied contract is one which is implied from the behavior of the party and not by words and words spoken or written. Here there is no words are written or spoken is there. By behavior of the party only we can understand whether the contract is accepted or not. That is called implied contract. Quasi contract. Coming to the quasi contract. Here the quasi contract is very important contract. A quasi contract is not a contract between two parties but a legal obligation is imposed by the court of law. Here legal obligation is imposed by the court of law which puts both parties in the same position as if there is a contract between them. This is based on grounds of equity that a person shall not be allowed to enrich himself unjustly at the expense of another. A quasi-contract is not a contract between two parties but a legal obligation imposed by the court of law which puts both parties in the same position as is there is a contract between them. A quasi-contract is a contract between two parties but a legal obligation is imposed by the court of law which puts both parties in the same position as if there is a contract between them. This is based on grounds of equity that a person shall not be allowed to enrich himself unjustly at the expense of another. Example, T, a tradesman. Here T is a tradesman, leaves his goods at M's house. Here T is a tradesman, he leaves his goods at M's house by mistake, and here M is using the T's goods. Then M is bound to the pay for the goods. And coming to the classification on basis of performance. Executed contract is a contract in which the parties to the contract have already performed their obligation. Executed contract means is a contract in which the parties to contract have already performed their obligation. Executor contract. An executor contract is one in which both parties are at to perform their obligation. Such an executor contract may be unilateral or bilateral executor contract. Here executor contract means both sides of the parties are completed their duties, and executor contract means one side of the party want to do the they want to perform the duty. Coming to the unilateral executory contract is one in which one of their parties yet to perform its obligation. Example, A has transferred his car to B, but B is yet to make the payment. And coming to bilateral contract is one in which the both parties are yet to perform their obligation. Here unilateral means one side of the party want to perform their duties. Coming to the bilateral contract means both parties want to complete their tasks in contract. Here an agreement is done between party and party B, and now the agreement want to get this supported by the law, then only this agreement will convert into a contract. So to satisfying the contract, we want to follow some elements, that those are essentials of a valid contract is offer and acceptance. Here offer, the party A want to willing to the offer and party B want to accept it. In the contract both parties want to accept their willingnessly, and there should be a legal relationship, and there should be a lawful consultation, means law want to support to the that contract, and they should have a capacity, means minor people should not participate in the contract act, and there should be a free consent. There should not be any misrepresentation, fraud, cheating, malpractices, and lawful object. There should not be any lawful objections, and agreement should not be declared void, and agreement should not be declared as a void, and certainty and possibility of performance. The contract should have the chance to the possibility chances, and there should not be any risky condition. Coming to legal formalities, it want to satisfy the all legal formalities. Thank you, my dear students. Please subscribe my YouTube channel.